Hey YouTube, Andrew here. I'm about to show you all a really old Kagero deck profile, and one based off of an old Kagero deck that a buddy of mine used to play back in the early 2010s. So this is from set 2, Onslaught of Dragon Souls, I think it's called. And I'm about to show a really old deck profile based on what he and I have built on what he's built in the past. And he decided to just hand me a lot of his old cards because he wasn't using them anymore. And eventually I'd like to play this particular format with people again someday. Anyways, onto the profile. Starting off, we have 4 regular Dragonic Overlord. Admittedly, he's not the unit you really want to have as your Vanguard, but it's a good rear guard to have, and it's good for forcing rear guards off the opponent's front row. But he is my favorite card in this deck. Just because of how cool and nostalgic it is. So, I have 2 proxies of a card in here that I'm playing for a playset of. 4 Seal Dragon Blockade. Generally, he's who you want to have as your Vanguard, because thanks to his skill, your opponent cannot intercept. Period. And I'm proxying 2 copies of Gojo for this card. So yeah. Having a unit that permanently blocks intercepts is just really nice. Next, 3 Dragonite Nehalo. Base standard 10k vanilla. 3 Berserk Dragon. When placed on rear, you counterblast 2, choose an opponent's rear guard and retire it. It's good for board wiping. Next up, 2 Wyvern Strike Tejas. When on Vanguard or Rearguard, Tejas can attack units in the opponent's back row. So he's a free back row board wiper. Finally, for grade 2s, 1 copies of Dragonite Burger. So, this clan, Royals, and I believe OTT and Novas had units like this back in the format. And they each had a skill that says when this unit intercepts, it gets plus 5,000 shield for the battle. And quite a few people played 10k interceptors back in this format. They weren't the best cards in the format, but they were still pretty nice to have. Now for grade 1, starting up, we have 4 Perfect Guards. I am proxying these until I get the actual versions of them. So back in this format, for those who don't know, all Perfect Guards did back then was just Perfect Guard and have you discard a card to block attacks. It had the nullification skill without anything additional like nowadays. And let me tell you, back then, grade 1 Perfect Guards were expensive. Like, they used to cost like 20 to 30 bucks a piece, and it was nuts. 4 Embodiment of Armor Bar. He's there as your 8k vanilla. 4 Dragonmount Gojo. His skill is rest this card, discard a card from your hand, and draw a card. In my opinion, he's definitely the best first ride this deck, and he's a pretty solid rear guard. Finally, 3 copies of Airmo. His base power is 6,000, but if a unit if the attack of a unit this guy boosted hits, you get to discard a card from your hand, then draw a card. It's a good hand extender. Now for triggers. 4 heal triggers. 4 critical triggers. And the reason I run 4 crit, I only run 4 crit, is because I also run a playset of stands. Back when stand triggers, back when Vanguard just had one tournament format, and when stand triggers were usable outside, were usable. So the reason I play stands in this deck is because of the fact Overlord gets +5 on his own when on rear guard, like the extra, and in case I end up riding Overlord instead of Blockade, I can restand his boosters when attacking with him, and if his attacks were to hit the opponent. Finally, 4 draw triggers, 2 of the vanilla draws, and 2 copies of Gatling Claw Dragon. So his skill back in the old days was really handy because decks played Forerunners, and he was a really good board Forerunner wiper. With his skill, you counterblast 1, send it to the soul, and then choose an opponent's grade 0 unit and retire it. And for our starter, we play Lizard Soldier Conroe. Still to this day, even in newer formats, the best Kagero starter in my opinion. Oh, and fun fact, a few sets after set 2, this guy eventually got banned. Just because his skill was so busted. And Barkgall was considerably a really broken card too. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you all liked the video. And if you ever want to play the format, play the set 2 format, the cards shouldn't be terribly expensive to get. At most, a playset of any card in this deck in low rarity should cost you like $5. So you'd definitely be able to spend less than 100 to build an old deck for older formats. Anyways, thanks for watching the video, you guys. Please like and subscribe for more content, and have a great night, everyone.